what's going on, guys? I've been kind of busy for the past week. I've actually been tied up this weekend. I've been feeling too good, so I kind of been chilling, and then I've been busy with work. So you can see I got the Miata up in the air actually. Basically brought it home. I pulled the radiator out, so you can see that's out for good now. Drain the water out of it, and I think tonight I kind of want to start pulling the front apart. Got a pretty bad migraine, so I'm not trying to move around too much. But yeah, so basically now is the time I'm pulling everything apart. I want to bring the trans in converter to FTI. We can go through the trans, just refresh it, make sure everything's okay. Restall the converter because the converter right now is too loose. I want to pull the motor apart and just verify all the bearings are okay. Because the converter's been loose, I've run a lot of converter pressure. When you run a lot of converter pressure, it pushes on the crank. So we just have to verify that my thrust bearings are good, and then we'll be going from there. So I actually have the new turbo housing. This is the exhaust housing. We're going to be running a single 3-inch into a T6. And then you can see this is the new exhaust flange. It goes from a 5-inch to a 4-inch. You know, this will be the exhaust. It's a 4-inch with the 2.5-inch gate tube. And my plan is to actually be putting it somewhere on the bumper. So, I don't know, something like that. Not exactly there. I mean, it could be this way, it could be that. I don't know yet. But it's going to be coming out the driver's side front. So, I got the trim ring from Motion Raceworks, and I got some stainless steel. Also, check this out. The homies over at V8R helped me out tremendously with this. So, I have a goal now. At the track, I went a 135 60 foot. And then in the last couple passes prior, I've been a 138 60 foot. I have a weird goal now. So nobody really makes parts for the Miata for drag racing. I kind of want to keep the car independent rear suspension. Don't know why. I just kind of want to do it. My buddy Chase out west, he's been extremely successful on the street. And I mean, we pretty much share the same diff, a combination and axle combination. And I mean, it's a no time car, but I can tell you his car is still faster than mine. So I know there's still room for me to excel. So to remove some unwanted movement in the rear, I ended up going with the spherical bearing control arms. So no more rubber bushings on the uppers and the lowers. I actually have the same control arms on the front of my car already. I don't know if you can see. You won't be able to see. I'll pull the wheel off later. I'll show you. But I'll basically have their entire set minus the front lowers. But with this, the car will be a lot stronger all around. And I have a weird goal. I want to run a 160 foot in an IRS Miata. I don't know if it's doable, but I kind of want to set that as a goal for myself. So we'll be making some changes in the upcoming future to make that happen. So anyway, so tonight I kind of wanted to work on the car for a little bit. Like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest, but I also want to get some stuff done. So I think what I want to do, pull the front bumper off and pull basically everything off of that bar that mounts the intercooler and the turbo. So I'm going to take off the turbo now. I'm going to take off the crossover tubes, basically pull the turbo kit off and start going from there. So I have a buyer lined up for the turbo. And I'm going to try to piece apart some other stuff, hopefully get some stuff sold. That way we can start working on the new setup. So let's get to wrenching. So I kind of just realized something that I just want to show, like I'm extremely excited about. So I know in the past video, I bought my ugly stock bumper and I wanted to buy, you know, the metal bracket that goes across, and I also realized I can use the side bolts, but I have never actually had this good of bumper fitment, like ever. Because I only ever put one bolt and one bolt, but like my gaps are actually pretty good. So I'm kind of excited for whenever this thing gets fixed and painted again, because it's actually gonna look better than it did before, funny enough. It's like small things that excite me. All right, step one is complete. Front bumper is off. And what I was mentioning before about like the little brackets I was using, these are what are on the factory bumper. And I just actually finally bolted it with both of the holes in here. Worked out really well. So now I'm going to pull off the charge pipe and basically the exhaust, intercooler, turbo, the whole deal. I basically just want it so this bar is still there, because this bar will still be used, but I'll be actually mounting my radiators on them. So, and I might possibly see if we can mount the turbo like from the side, like put the mount sideways here. That way the turbo still points that way, but let's get to that now. So now in a past video, now that I have the dump pipe off and charge pipe, I want to show this nice and close. So I'll even turn the light on. So you see the distance between the up pipe and the front coolant hoses? Like, that's one of my downfalls with this cooling system. And as to why I'm removing it from the back of the car, it's just there's no space to fit this exhaust realistically with where this turbo is positioned. Now, when I first started this build, I really wanted the turbo to be up front. I wanted it to be nice, loud, proud, visible. I wanted the hole in the bumper. But then reality sank in. It's like I enjoyed having the closed in front bumper, like without the hole, which I did find out that at the power level I'm making, it really didn't make any difference. I tried it with and without, the car still performed the exact same. But getting the heat away from the coolant hoses is going to be significant and a help of keeping this car cool during drag week. And also, now that I'm finding if I do position the turbo sideways, I have plenty of room to fit the front radiators, which is ultimately the one thing I want more than anything at this point in time. So keep chugging along, get the exhaust off, and I think we'll end up dropping the intercooler next. Alright, so crossover tube's off, intercooler is off, and we are basically at the turbo on the mount. Now, kind of funny, but I've had an oil leak that came up recently. Had no idea where it came from. Well, I finally figured it out. It appears that the turbo came loose from the mount, and that basically, I'm going to take the turbo off in a second, but basically the turbo, it bolts through where the drain is and it seats on an O-ring. So basically the bolt's loosened up and it's been a little wet. So I mean, at least that's a very easy fix, but gotta love simple stuff. Gotta love simple stuff. So I'm gonna take basically take the feed line off, I'm gonna get the turbo off, and then I'll take the drain off the bottom, and yeah, starting to get somewhere. Well, this is the Turtle without a turbo kit. So got the turbo on the floor. I cut off the piece with the Vangeon clamp, and yeah, I have these side by side. So my original plan was I was going to put this T6 housing on. I already got a T6 flange, you know, whatnot. But you know, when you see these things side by side, it's kind of scary. So for instance, as much as I hate freaking holding this thing, this is probably 40 pounds. Maybe not that, but like when you put it here, you know, kind of shows you that I still don't have much room to work with, even if I put this thing sideways. So my old setup, I didn't really have much back pressure issues. So I'm almost debating on keeping a T4 housing and trying to keep it small, or see if they have anything smaller for a T6 housing, because man, that thing is it's a monster. So anyway, so like I said, I got the car apart, and it's kind of cool. Like I think I showed this before, but this is actually a turbo mount. So like I said, it has an O-ring seal, turbo bolts to it, and then, you know, it's got the drain fitting on the bottom. Makes it really convenient. Like I can still put the drain hose back on, but ultimately what the oil leak was is, you know, the bolts just loosened up. So no big deal. But got the big old chunky intercooler sitting there. And yep, that's and that's where I'm gonna finish off tonight. You know, it's kind of late, but I wanted to do something tonight because I haven't really touched the car all week, and it sucks that I have to keep waiting on parts. I still don't know when I'm gonna get my new intake manifold, but at the same time, I think that's gonna allow me to do other things to the car. For instance, like I said before, I want to pull the motor and trans out, just get them refreshed, and by the time I think those are ready to go back in the car, I'm hoping to have the new intake manifold, so then I can start the fab work and, you know, steps like that. So like I mentioned earlier, the radiator is out of the car, and it's crazy, like looking underneath now, how much room's back here. It's pretty insane. You know, before I've been so used to having a radiator back there, but now the question is, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if someone's gonna buy it. It's got 2 of the 12-inch Mishimoto race fans on it, and it has a Davies Craig 40 gallon per hour. I think it's a gallon per hour, a liter per hour, I don't know. 40, I know it's a 40 water pump. So it's actually this water pump right here. I bought another one, that way when I have the new setup. So pretty badass. I want to say it's 40 gallon per hour, but I know it's a very sizable water pump. The water pump is definitely good for what I want to do. I also just did cut off, so there was, the bracket was on both sides of this tube. I just cut this right here. Hopefully the radiator will fit between this bar and the front bumper, and then I will have this entire area to do the nonsense I want to do again. So yeah, I forget, at the end of the day, it's still a Miata. It's still very big stuff I'm trying to put in this engine bay. Anyway, unfortunately it's a short one for me. Just want to get some work done. Gotta baby step this. It's gonna be a couple months it'll be off the road, but man, oh man, is it gonna be worth it. The goal I had for this year was to run an 8-second pass. We did that. We went 887 at 151, and it would have gone faster, but I actually pulled the parachute before the finish line just because I was nervous. So I know the car's got a lot more potential in it, and I know I can put a lot more boost and a lot more timing in it. So we have a very potential car. We have a very potentially fast car. I don't know. We have a hot rod. So the first goal of my year was to run an 8-second pass. So now I'm gonna pull it apart, make some adjustments. You know, the control arms, turbo kit. I want to make it more streetable. The next goal I have is I want to be able to pull a trailer behind the Miata with all the stuff I need. I want to drive it an hour away to the racetrack. I want to run an 8-second pass, and I want to drive it home. That is my next goal. So that is what I plan on doing in January, February-ish time. We have to get ready for drag week, which I do have a registration spot for drag week 2021. And then I also have to make the car faster because we're running TX2K in March. So I need to bring an 860 car to TX2K, which we have plenty of time to get testing for that. So anyway, appreciate the guys checking out this video. Little by little, little by little. Catch you in the next one. Peace.